The moment the little girl stepped into the karate dojo, all eyes fell on her, but not in admiration. The black belts, seasoned fighters with years of training under their belts, smirked and whispered among themselves. "She's just a kid," one scoffed. "How much can she possibly know about karate?" The laughter started quietly at first, then grew louder, echoing across the polished wooden floors. She felt the weight of every glance, every chuckle, every roll of an eye, but her hands didn't tremble, and her heart didn't falter. She had been training since she could barely reach the punching bag. Every fall, every bruise, every early morning and late night in the dojo had led her to this moment. Yet here, she was dismissed before she even began, underestimated simply because of her size and age. Or the sensei, an experienced martial artist with a calm demeanor, watched silently. He knew that the moment of truth wasn't in the laughter, it was in how she responded. Confidence doesn't shout. It waits patiently, ready to reveal itself when the time is right. The little girl took a deep breath, tightened her belt, and focused her mind. She didn't need to prove anything verbally. Her actions would speak louder than the ridicule. And deep inside, she knew something the black belts didn't. She was no ordinary child. She was a champion, a black belt in her own right, and the dojo had yet to see her full strength. As the laughter continued, she stepped onto the mat, every movement precise, every stance controlled. Her eyes met the chuckling black belts, and a faint, confident smile appeared. The dojo was about to witness a lesson in humility, skill, and the undeniable power of determination. The dojo smelled of polished wood, sweat, and the faint tang of liniment oil, a familiar scent to seasoned martial artists, but intimidating to newcomers. Today, a new student was joining, a petite girl with a determined gaze. Her name was Lily. Barely 10 years old, she walked through the sliding doors, her tiny gi crisp and clean, her black belt shining even though many doubted she had earned it. As soon as she entered, the older students stopped mid-practice, their kicks frozen in the air, and eyes turned toward her. The whispers began immediately. She's just a kid. Does she even know how to punch? Maybe she's here for the cookies. For his. Their voices carried a mix of amusement and condescension. Lily's small frame made her appear fragile, but her stance was confident, her shoulders squared. She glanced at the black belts, noting their smirks and eye rolls, yet she didn't flinch. She had been mocked countless times before in smaller dojos, in tournaments, in front of judges who thought her age was a limitation. She had learned to let the doubters speak while her focus remained unbroken. The sensei stepped forward, clearing his throat, and called everyone to attention. "We have a new student today," he announced. The black belts exchanged amused glances, some chuckling audibly. Lily's heart didn't race. She only bowed respectfully, a gesture of acknowledgement to both the sensei and the other students, silently communicating that respect doesn't require agreement. It doesn't require agreement. The class began with warm-ups. High kicks, stretches, punches. Lily moved fluidly, keeping pace with the older students. Her movements were crisp and precise, almost flawless, but the laughter didn't stop. A few black belts began mimicking her stances in jest, exaggerating her small size. But Lily's eyes remained focused. With every kick, every block, she demonstrated balance, control, and precision. Her confidence was quiet but commanding, a sharp contrast to the mocking laughter around her. The sensei noticed the subtle shifts in posture of the other students. They were beginning to realize this was no ordinary child. By the end of the warm-up, the black belts were slightly uneasy. Something about her poise, her concentration, and the intensity of her gaze was different. The whispers had slowed. They were still skeptical, but a flicker of doubt began to replace their initial amusement. After warm-ups, it was time for partner drills. The black belts paired up and began practicing complex combinations, their movements fast and aggressive. Lily was left with one of the most experienced black belts, a tall, muscular teenager named Brandon. He looked down at her and laughed under his breath. "Hope you don't mind getting embarrassed," he sneered. The other black belts gathered around, watching eagerly, some smirking, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Lily simply nodded and assumed her stance. She didn't respond verbally. Words were unnecessary. Her focus was on the form, the technique, and the execution. Brandon lunged first, testing her with quick jabs and kicks. Lily anticipated each move perfectly, sidestepping, blocking, and countering with precision. The sound of her blocks and strikes echoed through the dojo, crisp and decisive. The smirks on the black belts' faces faltered slightly. Not bad, Brandon muttered, trying to regain composure, but Lily didn't relent. Every punch, every kick, and every block was calculated, controlled, and executed with the skill of someone far beyond her age. The laughter that had filled the room moments earlier was now replaced with a tense silence. Christy Dorfadolf, one of the older students, trying to break the tension, made a joking comment, but it died in midair. The energy of the dojo had shifted. Lily's focus and expertise had begun to command respect, even from those who had been ready to ridicule her. The sensei watched silently, a small smile forming on his lips. This was the moment he had anticipated. The lesson in humility would arrive without a single word from him. Lily's mastery of technique and unwavering composure were teaching more than just martial arts. They were teaching character, resilience, and confidence. As the drill ended, Brandon stepped back, visibly shaken but trying to mask it. He nodded toward Lily, a subtle acknowledgement that she was more than just a small girl in a dojo. For the first time, the black belts were forced to question their assumptions. The little girl they had mocked was a force to be reckoned with. Next came the sparring portion of the class, a test of agility, skill, and quick thinking. The black belts formed a circle, eyeing each other, waiting to see who would step up. Whisper spread, "She can't possibly keep up. He's too small." Lily tightened her belt, her calm determination contrasting sharply with the skepticism surrounding her. The sensei called out the first match, Lily versus Brandon. The room grew quiet. The black belts watched eagerly, expecting a quick demonstration of her limitations. False. Brandon smirked, confident in his physical advantage, while Lily simply bowed, acknowledging him respectfully before taking her stance. Lily moved gracefully, sidestepping with lightning reflexes, countering each strike with precision and balance. The sound of blocks and strikes echoed sharply against the wooden floor. Gasps escaped from the onlookers. Her movements were flawless, each attack met with calm, confident defense. Brandon, initially cocky, started showing signs of strain as Lily's strategy became clear. She was not only defending, she was controlling the pace. A kick, a twist, a perfectly timed counter. Suddenly, Brandon was disarmed in his stance, unable to continue without stepping out of form. The other black belts exchanged stunned glances. The laughter from earlier had vanished entirely, replaced by awe. Lily extended her hand toward Brandon, helping him regain balance. Respect, humility, and skill were her true weapons. The sensei nodded approvingly. This was more than a sparring match. It was a demonstration of the power of discipline, focus, and silent confidence. The class had learned a hard lesson. Never judge skill by size or age. Lily had turned mockery into admiration, proving that mastery is measured not by appearance, but by dedication, poise, and technique. The black belts who had once laughed now felt the weight of their underestimation. By the end of the round, a subtle change had occurred. Lily had earned the attention and respect of every student present. Their whispers were no longer derisive, they were questions, curiosity, and now a quiet acknowledgement that greatness sometimes comes in the smallest packages. With the sparring portion complete, the sensei decided to push Lily further. He called for a demonstration of advanced forms, requiring precision, flexibility, and impeccable timing. The black belts watched, still skeptical but increasingly cautious, sensing something different about this little girl. Lily moved with grace and control, executing every kata with the fluidity of someone trained far beyond her years. Each movement was deliberate, each stance perfect. Even the most experienced black belts found themselves impressed by her agility and timing. A group of older students attempted to replicate the moves mockingly, exaggerating their form in jest, but their efforts only highlighted Lily's skill. She maintained her composure, completing every sequence flawlessly, a stark contrast to the stumbling motions of her peers. One of the black belts, trying to maintain his ego, stepped forward for a sparring challenge. Lily accepted without hesitation. The duel was short but striking. Her counters were precise, her strikes fast, and her defense unbreakable. The room was silent except for the sound of her footfalls and controlled movements. Finally, she ended the sequence with a powerful stance, perfectly balanced, her eyes calm and focused. The sensei clapped, nodding with approval. The black belts, previously laughing, now bowed in respect. Lily had proven herself beyond question. The lesson was clear. Skill and dedication cannot be judged by age or size. Lily's quiet confidence, Relentless training and unwavering focus had turned ridicule into admiration. The black belts had learned humility firsthand. After the class, the students gathered around the sensei, eager to discuss the incredible performance they had just witnessed. Even the older black belts who had laughed moments ago were now curious and respectful. Lily stood quietly, her demeanor calm yet radiant with quiet pride. The sensei addressed the group. Today we have learned a lesson in humility, focus, and discipline. Skill is not measured by size or age, but by heart, dedication, and technique. He paused, letting his words sink in. Lily has reminded us all of this truth. The students nodded, their earlier skepticism replaced with genuine admiration. Brandon, once her sparring opponent, stepped forward and extended his hand. "I misjudged you," he admitted. "You're incredible." Lily smiled, shaking his hand, demonstrating grace and humility. Word of Lily's mastery spread quickly within the dojo. Parents, instructors, and students from other classes came to witness her skills. She had turned the laughter of skeptics into awe and respect. Her black belt, worn with pride, symbolized not just technical mastery, but the strength of perseverance. Lily had proven that determination and courage can overcome doubt and mockery. Every student left the dojo that day with a renewed understanding. Never underestimate anyone based on appearances, and always respect dedication. The little girl had become a beacon of inspiration, showing that true mastery combines skill, confidence, and humility. Even as she left the dojo, Lily knew her journey was far from over. The lessons she imparted today, through action rather than words, would continue to inspire those who witnessed them. The black belts who had laughed now carried a newfound respect for discipline, focus, and the quiet power of determination. The dojo had changed, not because of rules or lectures, but because of a single child's unwavering confidence, demonstrating that true strength comes from within. Lily's story didn't end when the class was over. That day, she had turned laughter into admiration, doubt into respect, and mockery into inspiration. Her small frame, once underestimated, had become a symbol of perseverance and skill. Every block, every kick, every perfectly timed strike was a lesson in confidence, dedication, and humility. The black belts who had once laughed at her now carried the memory of her unmatched skill. They had learned that assumptions based on size, age, or appearance can be dangerously misleading. Lily had proven that discipline, focus, and heart can overcome any prejudice or skepticism. For viewers, especially young people, her story is a reminder. No matter the doubt cast upon you, no matter the laughter or underestimation, your preparation, skill, and courage will speak louder than words. True strength is silent yet undeniable. If you enjoyed Lily's journey, from being laughed at to earning universal respect, then there are many more stories like this waiting for you. Stories that motivate, inspire, and entertain while teaching valuable life lessons. Sparkles, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories of courage, skill, and determination. Join a community that celebrates the underdogs, the silent heroes, and the champions who prove that greatness isn't measured by size, it's measured by heart. Let Lily's journey remind you, never underestimate yourself, never back down, and always let your actions speak for you. Because sometimes the smallest person in the room can teach the biggest lesson.